He lied about his age, by 10–20 years. I, 24F, have been seeing someone who I thought was 26 male. We have a lot of common interests, and have been having a lot of fun together going on dates and such. He lives at home, dresses, acts and looks like someone in their late 20s. Well, I got bored on night and decided to stalk his Facebook pretty hard. I found pictures of him holding beers posted in a year where we would have been like 13 years old, looking like a full legal adult. After this I googled his name, and background search websites said he was either 32, 36, or 41. Looking back now, I can see the age on his face better. Obviously, I'm not going to keep seeing this guy and I'm pretty freaked out by this manipulation. I think he might have some sort of sex addiction as I looked at his Instagram following and it was all sex workers. So my question here is, what do I do? Do I confront him about the lie and see what his excuse is? Or do I just ghost him? He specifically told me he was 26. Also, for people wondering how he can pass as so much younger, he's Asian and goes to the gym every day lol. As much as I'd have loved to rip him a new asshole to shit out of for lying to me, I wouldn't confront him for one simple reason. If you let him know that you know and how you found out, FB stalking, he can cover his tracks better for the next poor girl who comes along. Besides, he doesn't really deserve an explanation. Just ghost him. Woman shrugging, medium light skin tone. No, don't confront him. Just end your relationship. He lied to you about his age, so who knows what else he had lied about. If he is willing to lie that much, he will try to gaslight you. Ghost him and move on. You owe him nothing after all that. Don't confront, just ghost. The reason I say this is because if he's willing to lie about something this big, he might be more dangerous than you realize. It's probably better to keep conflict with him to a minimum. Ghost him. He's a predator and block anything to do with him. Please, glad you freaked. If y'all had sex, I would get tested. My girlfriend is mad because I agreed to a threesome. Yesterday my girlfriend, 20 female, and I, 20 male, of a few months were sexting, and I ended up asking if she wanted to try anything new in the bedroom. She replied asking for a threesome. I personally don't like the idea of it, because I love her and the thought of sharing her or even myself pains me. However, her asking about that made me question our sex life, and made me feel as if she was missing something that I couldn't give her. So, without hesitation, I agreed to support her. Turns out, she was only joking to see how I would respond. Now, she's mad at me and even contemplating our relationship, because she thinks that I am just okay with sharing her and sleeping with other people. I've tried to explain myself, but she won't listen. Now we haven't talked in almost 24 hours and I honestly don't know how I'll be able to recover from it. Any advice for being able to communicate better, or maybe even assure her that I didn't mean anything by it? I really just wanted to support her by agreeing, but now I am starting to think that I was in the wrong. I would just value some outside perspective, please. Too long did not read. My girlfriend wanted a threesome and I agreed, but she was lying about wanting one, to see my reaction. Now she's mad at me and won't talk. Update. I didn't expect to get as much feedback as I have. Thank you all so much for the advice and perspective, as it truly helped me. As an update, she reached out to apologize for overreacting. I then told her that I won't tolerate being trapped, and that these mind games are manipulating and toxic, and that I won't be ignoring or forgetting red flags. On my end, I apologized for not being honest from the beginning. Needless to say, we worked it out. Thanks again to everyone who gave their advice. Any advice for being able to communicate better? It takes two to communicate well. She would prefer to play games and lay trap cards rather than act like an adult. Good luck with that. Don't ignore warning signs of immaturity. Your girlfriend is being ridiculous and tried to trap you with a question. That's not how mature adult relationships work. Let her and her manufactured drama move along. Yeah, girls who trap their boyfriend with this test shit are the lowest of the low. Let her sulk it out, then have a talk about her not making stupid jokes like this anymore. You did nothing wrong. She's an idiot. Girls playing games like this are huge red flag to me. I would leave her without second thought. From experience. Had the same issue 8 years ago. I, 33 male, found girlfriend, F29, of 3 years on a website for sugar dating. Last night my girlfriend was out seeing a friend, and late in the night left me a message saying she would be spending the night. For some reason the gut feeling was so off, and I looked through her computer, something I have never done in the 3 years since we met. What I found was pretty shocking. She has been registered on this disgusting website for sugar dating since 6 months back. There are about 30 conversations where she outlines how she is interested in PPM, which I have learned is an acronym for pay per meet, what she is willing to do sexually, names her price, and hands out her personal number or telegram. I pretty much instantly texted her that she needs to get her stuff and leave my apartment, and she came home today the following morning. At first she denied ever having been registered on the website, even as I was showing it to her. When this became untenable, she conceded that she had registered but claimed she had never actually intended to meet up with any of the men off the website, that it was only for attention. She then refused to show me her WhatsApp, Telegram, saying it'd be another breach of her integrity. I said that's fine, but I had no intention of talking to her anymore, as I have no way of telling whether she's telling the truth or lying. I think this is obviously cause for breaking up. Even the messages alone, there's no way I'd ever be able to trust anything she says. I'm not even sure what I am trying to ask right now. Sorry for my incoherently rambling. The whole thing just feels completely bizarre. Your reaction is the correct reaction. She is registered on a site where she wants people to pay her for sex while in a relationship. What more do you need to know? Tell her to come get her shit, then go full NC. Well, she's a prostitute. You did the correct thing. Next, get tested for STDs. How do I support my wife after years of neglect? For the last 7 years, I've had what I thought was a bumpy marriage. We have 5 and 6-year-old kids. Throughout the whole marriage, I had been building a startup, and had been exceptionally selfish, and prioritized the startup over my wife. I worked long hours and was constantly stressed. I'd come back from working, exhausted and grumpy, and wouldn't be kind to my wife. There were always good days, but I had gone months sometimes without barely acknowledging my family. Essentially being a total workaholic, self-involved grumpy asshole, who would then be condescending to my wife, because I projected my sense of failure onto her. 2 weeks ago, my wife said she has had enough, and wants to leave. This genuinely took me as a shock, as I had never been considerate enough to think about how my consistent neglect and condescension would have an impact on her. For the last 2 weeks I've been focused on going through psychotherapy, and reading about how to cultivate empathy. So that I can change for good, and maybe show my wife that I can be the man she originally married. I love her deeply, and I can't reconcile my emotions. I treated her like a doormat, all in the name of trying to make a future for us, and now I'm seeing how terribly fucking wrong I have been. And I feel that no matter how much I change, that there will never be any hope in her feeling like a whole person again, and her never trusting me with her feelings, as she feels like I had abandoned her years ago. She had made up her mind to leave, but once I started to show her that I don't have to be this selfish prick, that I can change for the better, it has given her some pause. She says she doesn't know she can ever fall in love with me again, that I've damaged her to the point that she feels like she has lost herself. She's deeply empathetic, and I had a rough childhood and never developed much empathy. I'm desperate to change, so I can be the husband and father that I envisioned I would actually be. How do I support her through this? Has anyone else ever woken up one day and realized that they've destroyed their marriage because they've been selfish? What do I do to help her heal? Is there any hope in her rebuilding trust? I've been such a fool. Sounds like you are taking steps to correct the issues. However, your efforts may just be too late. She's come to the realization that she can't take the emotional neglect any longer. She may have reached the point of no return. I think if I were in her situation, I wouldn't trust you to maintain the changes you are making. For the last 7 years, I've been a dick. For the last 2 weeks, I've read a book because my wife threatened to leave. You have a long, long way to go op. How do you support her? You get up every day and be a better husband, a better man. Honest, open, available, giving, loving. Every fucking day. What do I do to help her heal? That is completely up to you. Your writing is passive. Helping her heal will only come with you stepping up. Help her heal? Stop hurting her and start loving her.